All right, everybody, we're back with our second segment today with Richard Horowitz. And as we mentioned, Richard is an attorney, an investigator, and a former member of the IDF. And we're certainly happy to have him on here each and every week. Let me just turn down the house music a little bit. We're going to get into our second segment today with Richard. And we're going to be starting off with probably the memory clip of today. And we're going to be bringing in a number of other clips as well, as Richard has set his methods up here. So, Rich, why don't you take off and lead this off, and we'll start on our way.
Okay, first memory clip of the week is 3393. Go to memorytv.org, put in clip number 3393 in advanced search. You will see a British extremist criticizing Western lifestyle and discussing how it influences Muslims, and that's what they're fighting against.
Okay, and you wanted to get into the second segment here, discussing the issues of entrapment.
Yes,
right?
yes.
These are big issues, and a lot of people on one side are saying one thing, others saying the other. Go ahead, give us your bent on this.
There's a movement, I would call it, of those who are criticizing the FBI. That whenever an investigation is done using an undercover informant, that it's really entrapment, and it's the undercover informant is instigating the plot, not reporting the plot. So I thought we would start off with two clips, one from Russia TV and one from a program called Democracy Now! See how they express the matter. They refer to a report done by Mother Jones magazine 6 months ago or so, which we won't get into today. But let's see what they have to say about it, and then I'll comment, and I think we should spend several segments on this issue.
Okay, which one do you want to do first, Rich?
Do Russia TV first.
Russia TV? Okay, hang on 1 second now, and we'll get that up here in just 1 second. There we go. All right, here comes Russia TV, everybody.
Now think of a few of the foiled terrorist plots that we've spoken about before on this show. The Newburgh 4, the Portland Christmas tree bomber, or the New York subway bombing plot. They all have one very big element in common. They were sting operations. Cases where FBI informants worked with the convicted or accused. Cases the FBI labeled as a success, but which others might call entrapment. And it makes you wonder if since 9/11, when the Bureau changed its focus so heavily to counterterrorism, if the FBI is really stopping terrorists or creating and egging on more. Since 9/11, counterterrorism now makes up $3.3 billion of the FBI's budget, and that's the lion's share. Now, Mother Jones has done an in-depth investigation into the FBI's massive network of informants, unveiling that the Bureau currently maintains a roster of over 15,000 spies, most of them tasked with infiltrating Muslim communities. And for every informant officially listed in the Bureau's records, there are as many as 3 unofficial ones. Now, Mother Jones examined prosecutions of 508 defendants in terrorism-related cases and found that nearly half involved the use of informants. Sting operations resulted in prosecutions against 158 defendants. And of that total, 49 defendants participated in plots led by an agent provocateur, an FBI operative instigating terrorist action. And then all but 3 of the high-profile domestic terrorist plots that we've seen over the last decade, those were FBI stings. So let's find out more about how this network of spies works and whether or not we can come to a conclusion about busting terrorists versus leading them.
And we're back, Rich. That was pretty informative how she lays out that whole list of things from how they view the FBI. But I guess what would you expect from Russia today, huh?
Well, I tell you, some things that I see on Russia Today remind me of Soviet days. I don't know. I don't know how they think people are going to fall for it, but that's what they're doing.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Well, let's run up to that second clip. All right, from Democracy Now! That is interesting as well. You ready for that one?
Go right ahead.
Okay, hang on. Let me just see if I can get this in view right. Hang on, wrong one. All right. Oh, there it is. Okay, got it now. All right, here it goes.
turn now to the Federal Bureau of Investigation, or is it the Bureau of Instigation? That's the question raised by a new expose in Mother Jones magazine called The Informants. According to the article, the FBI has built a massive network of spies to prevent another domestic terror attack. But it suggests these spies are not only busting terrorist plots, they're actually organizing them, so the FBI can later claim victories in the so-called war on terror. Over the past year, Mother Jones and the investigative reporting program at the University of California, Berkeley, examined more than 500 terrorism-related cases. Their probe found that nearly half of the prosecutions involved the use of informants, many of them incentivized by cash rewards of up to $100,000 per assignment. Democracy Now!'s Anjali Khamid and Big Noise Films' Jackie Suin reported on this phenomenon last year.
And we're back. All right, so Rich, wow, there's a couple of clips that people should look at probably 4 or 5 times just to understand the import of everything that's being said there.
Well, let me summarize the issue.
Go.
There have been a number of reports and a short video on this issue of entrapment. Every time the FBI uses an undercover, it's entrapment.
Right.
Now, so let me explain what entrapment is. The word entrapment is in the English language because the law created it. The law put it in the English language. What it means in plain English is no one wants the FBI to trick someone into doing something they wouldn't have done otherwise and then arresting them for it. That would be entrapment. But the way those who are critical of the FBI are using the word entrapment, and we can show clips in future segments on this, is the person could not have done this plot if not for the assistance of the FBI. In other words, Antonio Martinez may not have been able to obtain weaponry and explosives without the assistance of the FBI. But if he puts out on his Facebook page that he'd like to commit jihad, someone approaches him and says, "I'm ready to help you," you would hope a person would say, "You know, now that I think it over, I'd prefer not to do it." But if the person says, "Fine, I'll accept your help," if that help happens to come from an FBI undercover informant or undercover operative, that is not entrapment because the FBI did not put that idea into his head. And the skeptics who are critical of the FBI, making it seem like everything they're doing is tricking people into doing things that otherwise they wouldn't do, are either misunderstanding what entrapment is or intentionally misleading the public. But I think we should spend a few more segments on it and go into it in depth, go into some entrapment cases, see when it's used, when it's not used. The Antonio Martinez attorney actually said at one point, according to the reports, that the FBI could have just as well tried to convince his client not to do the attack rather than go along with them. And the FBI aren't social workers. They're there to catch criminals and terrorists.
Well, I agree with you, Rich, and our music is back up again. That's the end of the second segment this week with Richard Horowitz, everybody. All right, Rich, we look forward to seeing you next week as well. Thanks again.
Thank you.
All right, bye, everybody.